Well, hello everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola. Welcome to Positively Osceola Live, and just another awesome opportunity to speak to great people in the community, and that really get we really get out in the community so often, and that is a blessing to us because we get to speak to those people who are out making it happen every day. And that sounds like a cliche sometimes, I think, when we say it. But that's the reality. There are a lot of folks that do business, and we applaud them for doing business in the community, and we really, we support them as best we can. But we get to really get to know the folks that are out there every day um, that involve themselves in what's happening in the community, not just doing business, but get out there trying to help, try to make things better, make a positive difference and a great impact on the community we live in. And so we're really super blessed to be able to speak to a great amount of folks like that. And we've had a friend that we're going to get to talk to today that certainly no one has done more for a longer time in this community than Mr. Charlie Draper of Draper Law Office. And so we're going to say, hey, Charlie.
Good morning.
How's it going today?
Me. Good, good. Appreciate you having me as one of your guests.
Yeah, we use this whole forum. We use this as an excuse just to hang out and talk. It's great. So we are midweek right now, and that's always exciting to get a chance to speak to you. Certainly, in the middle of the week, it makes it exciting, as some folks find the Wednesdays to be tough to try to get past, as they can start looking at that weekend thing again. But this isn't just another Wednesday. This is the first Wednesday after the kids and teachers and professional admins have gone back to the schools and are back at it again hard. So with that, lots of changes. And so that may be one of the topics we talk about. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good topic. It's certainly relevant.
Right. Yeah, I mean, today I got out there and, something that's not shocking to folks. So if we, for those folks who are listening to this outside Osceola County, maybe even outside of Central Florida, we are blessed with lots of traffic. Certainly do. And, but to make it a serious discussion, which we should, certainly that brings inherent danger to a lot of things traffic wise. And, we want to be mindful of the changes when school buses, families, kids are, certainly trying to get themselves to and from school. So let's go ahead and chat about that today. I know you're certainly steeped in experience as far as discussing the hazards on the road and how that all plays out. So maybe we should make that a topic today.
Good idea. So, it's so relevant because, as you pointed out, most schools started last week. And, in the summer months, we get used to not having school buses on the road, not having crossing guards, at intersections, not having children with their backpacks either walking across the street or on their bicycles. And so we get used to that, and we don't stop and think how things change or how can we make a difference. And my simple advice is, once school starts, leave your house early. Don't expect to leave your house at the same time. I've got a cat in front of me. Sorry about that. Don't expect to leave at the same time and get to work at the same time. Sure. When school's out, because that's not going to happen, So leave early, put down your damn cell phones. Seriously. There's such a distraction, and focus. Pay attention. I always I try to always be a defensive driver. Yeah. I anticipate the worst because I know that people are going to, change lanes suddenly. It's an everyday occurrence, either going to work or coming home from work. So just pay attention, be a good defensive driver, and please put that damn cell phone away. We've got, as you pointed out, Keith, you've got school buses on the road, and they've changed the law now as far as the fines when there's flashing lights and a school bus, and people will pass it. And I don't think, that will completely discourage all the violators, because people just think of themselves first.
Yeah, no.
I've got to get to work, or I've got to get to this place, and this bus is in my way and it's holding me up, and so I'm just going to go around it. Yeah. School zones, there's a reason for the speed limits, because as I pointed out earlier, you've got crossing guards, you've got kids, you've got bicyclists, you've got the speed limit is between 15 and 20 unless it's posted otherwise.
Right.
So not only keep to the speed limit, but be vigilant, because these little kids, they expect the worst. I'm telling you, this is not school related, but it happened to me recently. Just driving through a Sam's parking lot or a BJ's parking lot, it's not uncommon to see someone on their cell phone walking with their head down, crossing the aisle or main travel lane. And if you're not paying attention, you could hit them. So again, pay attention, stay focused, expect the worst, and it'll probably happen.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I mentioned it to you today. We're in our home office right now because I got in the truck and I went down about maybe a mile, and I looked at the clock and I said, there's just no way I'm not going to fight time, because time's going to win. And it's just, like you said, it's dangerous. And I'm not sure anybody is more stubborn about that than I am. I certainly could be accused of being focused on getting to work, getting that first line item checked off just when you have to. But I just turned around. I said, it's not going to be that kind of ride. I'm not going to do that to myself and endanger anybody. I mean, I'm being honest about it. So I just turned back around and set up and went from there. But I mean, it's, I think it is just the nature of where we're all at as a culture now. I mean, we are absolutely, I think you're spot on. We are absolutely focused on what that task is, and we're going to get there. And then that big yellow thing or orange thing gets in the way, and it's got, unfortunately, there are kids on there. So we better, just relax, but people don't do it. We've all seen it. They'll make that beeline around a bus, and it is dangerous. And like you said, pedestrians sometimes aren't walking within the crosswalk.
Right. And Keith, it's going to get worse. Yeah. I mean, I saw some statistics where in 2021, there was an increased population, by 5% or so. Last year, there was another increase in population by like 6%. Don't hold me to those figures, but my point is our population is growing, and continue. It will continue. I mean, just look at all the apartment buildings being built, all the subdivisions being built. So, there's going to be more and more vehicles on the road, more pedestrians on the road. So I guess the message is just pay attention, leave home early, and anticipate the worst, because it could happen. Another thing I wanted to talk about, if we have time, is the importance of uninsured motorist coverage. And a lot of folks don't understand what it is. Okay. So let me put it in this perspective. You can legally put a vehicle on the road with minimum coverage of property damage liability coverage of $10,000. That means if you cause an accident, your insurance company will pay up to $10,000 to fix another person's car. Okay. Mm-hmm. The other type of coverage, which is mandatory, is no fault coverage or personal injury protection, PIP. Okay. In Florida, unlike other states, bodily injury coverage is not mandatory. Okay. And bodily injury coverage protects the other person or the occupants in the other vehicle if you cause an accident. Okay. So we have found in our practice, and I've talked to healthcare providers who seem to think, I don't know if there's any statistics showing this, but that Osceola County, I guess because of the demographics, are the bodily injury coverage is either is not selected, they don't carry it, or it's carried in an amount of 1020, meaning the most that you can collect is 10,000 per person, but not to exceed 20,000 per accident. And you know, automobile insurance, like property insurance, continues to go up. So I understand that everyone has a budget, but here's the important point. And here's a point that I don't think your insurance agents are being honest with you. If you want to protect yourself and your family, you have to purchase uninsured motorist coverage. Right. Now, the only way that you can purchase uninsured motorist coverage is if you also carry bodily injury coverage. Okay. Right. So, and you cannot carry a higher limit of uninsured motorist coverage than you do bodily injury. So if you select bodily injury coverage of 1020, that's the most that you can carry. So if you're involved in an accident in Florida, or your family is, right, and let's say the other family or the other vehicle does not carry bodily injury coverage, if you carry uninsured motorist coverage, at least you can get compensation for yourself or your family. So again, the limit is not, you can't carry higher amount than you do carry bodily injury. And there's two types of uninsured motorist coverage. Okay. There's stackable and non-stackable. What that means is this: if you carry stackable uninsured motorist coverage, then if your injuries are sufficient and you have another vehicle in the family that's insured that has uninsured motorist coverage, right, you can stack that coverage on top of the uninsured motorist coverage for the vehicle that was involved in the accident. So, look, as I said, every family has a budget, but talk to your insurance agent and see if you can fit in your budget some level of uninsured motorist coverage, and just for your own protection and protection of your family. Because I talked to other healthcare providers and other attorneys, and they don't have the same problem in other counties that we do in Osceola. And I think it's probably the demographics. You know, we have a lot of people here who work for the theme parks, sure, or the hospitality industry, and so they're not paid a lot. So they're looking to cut their their insurance rates as much as anyone. So protect your family by buying uninsured motorist coverage, even if it's a limit of 1020. At least you have something.
Yeah, but I think part of that challenge. I mean, this is a great topic. We actually could take do a week-long series every day talking about this and try to get it out to people. And this is big time real. And I think, if you watch TV ever, you're going to see a Geico commercial, you're going to see Progressive, you're going to see the General. Those three, I think, probably are your highest commercial base. They're always pushing commercials. And if you I've gone through it. If you go online, I love everything digital. So I go online. You cannot, like you said, you're going to select when it comes to uninsured motorist, you hit submit. That's what's going to trigger that increase in rate, no doubt. So if you're working in the service industry and maybe a theme park and you're like, gosh, I got to get insurance, that is where your decisions, number one, going to come in. And then stackable, when you start stacking, which is, of course, it's a good benefit to have, because again, you're now adding those other insurances to it. That is where somebody's going to have to make that decision, whether it fits their budget, no doubt about it. And, but when you're doing it online, there isn't anybody to explain to you the result.
Right.
So, here we are pushing heavy commercials at people saying, hey, look how it's going to save you 40%. But what they mean is you're probably going to not select uninsured motorists. Then God forbid you have an accident. Then you're going to figure this all out.
Exactly.
So I hear you. I think this is a huge topic. And again, it doesn't allow you to do things that you can't do as far as selecting what the numbers are, but it does allow you to drive that rate low. And that is a problem for sure. I don't know how we fix that particular one other than education, like this right here. But man, it's a big deal.
And so I tell clients, usually policies are issued for 6 months or a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It depends upon the insurance company. So let's say you're with an insurance company that renew or issue policies for only 6 months. And
right.
let's say that if in order to carry uninsured motorist coverage, in addition to your other coverages, it's going to cost you $60 more for that coverage. Okay. Well, that's $60 over the 6 month period, means $10 a month for the protection of your family. If you look at it that way, then it's easier it's more palatable than, looking at it as $60 versus $10 a month. So, but it's just, like every one of your listeners, there's barely a day that goes by that you can't see an accident. I mean, yesterday, because I live off Pleasant Hill Road, there was a real serious accident, plus another 3 or 4 accidents in Osceola. I mean, just in that area.
No doubt.
This morning, I watched on the news, there was another fatality on I-4 near the Kissimmee exit. Yep. So there's, with more traffic on the road, you can expect it either coming into work during the day or going home. You can see it. So it's not going to let up, I don't think.
No. And yesterday, the one you're referring to, the first one you referred to, that was a head-on crash. It started at 5:20 in the morning. Single vehicle lost control, went over the median, and popped another vehicle, which then he struck another before turning over. So that was a fatality. So yeah, tough scenarios every day. I would add this real quick. If you go online when you purchase your airline tickets, typically these days they're crafty and they're charging for carry-ons, of course. And so check baggage and carry-on. If you don't select it, you're not moving to the next screen.
Right.
Going to say, okay, or you don't select your own seat choice if you want to pay extra for that. If you don't do it, it pops a prompt and says, oh, I guess you just, check here where it says, I'll just take any seat.
Right.
And that kind of double reminder in a sales format, I would love to see the insurance companies selling auto insurance that would pop a prompt up to somebody and say, hey, yes, this is your choice, but be reminded in this text box, this is the result of not having uninsured motorist. I would love to see somebody say, hey, you know what, you've got, I mean, we write all kinds of laws every, in March every year in Florida. It's a new batch of laws at the legislative session. I'd love to see somebody say, this has to be in there, a slight reminder to a consumer that there is something that is going to be associated with driving yourself to the lowest rate. But I don't think that's going to happen, because I think the insurance companies make sure that doesn't happen for sales points. But it would be I think, a nice thing for people to be reminded of what you've said this morning. And
well, and to your point, to that point, Keith, insurance companies really don't push uninsured motorist coverage. They don't explain it, because here's why. If you come to me, Mr. Insurance, and you've got a good driving record, I'm probably going to issue you coverage, okay? Mm-hmm. But even good drivers get involved in accidents with bad drivers, okay? Right. And so if you carry uninsured motorist coverage and you're involved in an accident with a bad driver, then your insurance is potentially on the hook to pay damages in the event that the other person doesn't carry bodily injury coverage.
Right.
So that's really an incentive. In addition to that, insurance companies are very competitive. They want to sell a policy to you, and so one that will fit your budget. And if it's just property damage only and a PIP, then that's what they're not going to try to educate you on the importance of carrying uninsured motorist coverage.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, we could speak for a week nonstop, have somebody bring us beverages and a snack once in a while and not still cover it all. I hope we'll do this again. I know we have a monthly talk. I think that would be such a great conversation. Maybe we can work out an extra time this month to do an extra show just based on the insurance choices that are in front of us as consumers, because it has a huge effect on what happens if you're unfortunately in an accident. And then with last year's legislative changes, it puts more pressure on people in a different way as well, for as far as insurance claims. Something we should maybe put those two together and have a nice show.
You could even bring on as a guest an insurance broker,
right?
Someone who's not affiliated with one particular company like State Farm, Allstate, right. Geico, who only sell that one product, but broker sells for a number of different insurance companies, and just have a discussion.
We could do that thing where we mask the voice and put a silhouette over the so no one will know who they are.
Right.
So I don't know, but lots of opportunities to talk. Certainly, we got a bunch of comments that came in that I didn't see come in. So we may not be able to get those in here, but they will make it on the Facebook feed. So that's good. But anyway, look, I know we've got to get going today. But I do appreciate your time. I'm going to work on that as far as getting an insurance broker and try to have a conversation with that, so we can have a even more in-depth conversation about that. And I do want to remind people that there were legislative changes on our next show that we can discuss as well, because I think that puts pressure on, again, I think it puts pressure on the consumers as opposed to the insurance company. Something wouldn't be a bad thing to talk about again. I'm sure you agree.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Well, we appreciate all the comments. Sorry that we got so deep into the conversation. I'll click a couple of them real quick. Somebody saying good morning. Gotta love it. Hey, Mark, how you doing? And I know Debbie says she works for see, it's all about those accidents that are happening out there, folks. So we get it. So let's do that. I'll work on getting an insurance broker in for the next discussion. We can chat through that, and that's great information. So I appreciate you bringing that to the table today, Charlie. For sure.
Thank you for having me as your guest.
You got it. Again, since 1984, since we didn't talk about your law firm, why don't you do that real quick? Just give us the elevator speech about your law firm, please.
Okay. As you just pointed out, we started out in 1984 in Osceola County. Been here ever since. Our practice areas are pretty limited. We practice personal injury, and even that is limited to 90. I would say 90% of the cases we handle are automobile accidents. Another 10% are slip and fall, trip and fall.
Right.
And then the other area is family law. We have an excellent family law attorney, Linda Grzinski, who's been in practice for over 30 years. And she gets good results, and is great with clients. So we're located at 705 West Emmett Street, right across the street from the old courthouse. And we can be reached at 407-846-0075, or you can, Google us, draperlawoffice.com. Or you can stop by if you're in the area. So we appreciate the opportunity to have this discussion, and look forward to similar discussions in the future, Keith.
Yes, absolutely. We should get that together, and I'll work on that as soon as we hang this one up, and we'll get that book for another one. I really do appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy over there. Everybody, the whole entire firm is. So we appreciate you taking a few moments, and hopefully a few people will pick up on some of the things said today. And when we all have to go back and get insurance, so hopefully folks will pick up on what we said and use that as a resource for their next year of insurance or so. Cool. All right, everybody, be safe on the driving side, as we said earlier in the show. And Charlie, I do appreciate again you being here with us today.
Thank you, Keith.
You got it. Again, Keith with Positively Osceola, along with Charlie Draper of Draper Law Office, together making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Have a great day, everybody.